So Jack Antonoff is basically the architect behind, well, some of the most bombastic stadium pop anthems of the last decade.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, if you listen to the new Bleachers album, it sounds like it was recorded in a sweaty garage
Yeah.
on cheap live mics.
Yeah.
Why the huge shift?
Well, because for the first time in 10 years, he is not trying to hide inside the music.
Right. Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are looking at a stack of sources today. We have recent album reviews, this really sprawling Paste magazine cover story, and a gritty studio breakdown. And the mission for you listening is to map out this massive emotional and sonic shift to Bleachers, going all the way from their 2014 debut to the 2024 self-titled album.
And to really get it, we have to start with A Stranger Desired.
That is the 10th anniversary re-recording of the debut, right?
Exactly. And the most revealing part is not what is actually there, but what Antonoff deliberately stripped out. Specifically, the Juno 6 keyboard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he used to rely on this low synth hum from it, and he actually called it a literal anchor for his flying anxiety.
Wait, but if you take those giant synth anthems away from Bleachers, aren't you just left with, like, a standard indie folk band?
It sounds risky on paper.
Because that Juno 6 hum was basically a musical weighted blanket. So taking a crowd surfing track like Roller Coaster and turning it into a quiet acoustic ballad feels like a massive risk.
Right.
Doesn't that risk alienating the fans who specifically showed up to, celebrate grief with peppy tunes?
Well, it would be a risk if he was just doing a stripped-down gimmick, but this is a fundamental shift in how he processes pain.
How so?
The 2014 original, with all those dense synths, it was basically a frantic prayer for commiseration. He was begging a crowd to help him carry his grief.
Ah, I see.
But the 2024 version is completely different. It is a confident, mindful promise. He just doesn't need that sonic armor to hold the weight of his feelings anymore.
That is fascinating.
Yep.
And shedding that heavy emotional armor, it didn't mean losing his energy, which paves the way for the unpolished magic of the 2024 self-titled album, Bleachers. Because if you aren't hiding behind a wall of synths, you have to find that energy somewhere else. And we see that perfectly in the making of the track, Modern Girl.
Oh, the studio breakdown for Modern Girl is amazing. He wanted the track to capture the sweaty, loose tension of a band exactly an hour into a live set in New Orleans.
I love that specific vibe.
Right. And to get that, he had producer Patrick Berger play a cocktail drum kit.
Which is key, because a cocktail kit forces the drummer to stand up while playing.
Yeah.
It inherently makes the rhythm looser and more frantic compared to sitting comfortably behind a massive studio rig.
Precisely. And they recorded it using standard SM58 microphones.
Wait, just regular live mics?
Yeah, just simple SM58s. So instead of isolating every instrument in a perfectly dead vocal booth, those mics captured the bleed of the room. The chaos is literally baked right into the recording.
That is so cool. But how does he avoid making it sound like, I don't know, a cliche stomping clap party track?
Well, he took this surreal turn and deliberately pitched his layered vocals up to sound like chipmunks.
Chipmunks. Seriously.
Yeah. It creates this beautiful high-frequency chaos. It stops the track from feeling too grounded and makes it feel totally unhinged and spontaneous.
And that raw, live-in-the-room studio approach perfectly mirrors his unfiltered lyrical reckoning with his past and present, doesn't it?
It really does. He is no longer meticulously controlling every sound, which mirrors how he has finally stopped trying to control his past. The Paste magazine cover story really unpacks this through his concept of tribute living.
Right, this is the really heavy part of his evolution. Following the death of his sister in 2001, he described this intense compulsion to fly into the future to live for her.
Because she couldn't.
Exactly.
But tribute living comes with an immense psychological cost. The article details his deep guilt over breaking what he calls an ancestral pact.
What does he mean by that?
Well, as the first in his Eastern European Jewish lineage to leave behind a survival-focused life, putting food on the table, keeping a roof overhead, to go tour in a van at age 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he carries intense generational shame. He chose art over sheer survival.
But the beauty of this new album is hearing that generational shame finally balance out with profound new joy.
Right, absolutely.
He is making space for his past, but also for his present, specifically his recent marriage to Margaret Qualley.
You can hear that explicitly on tracks like Isimo.
Yeah, where he just lets the music breathe around his feelings for her without drowning it in synths. So to sum it up for you listening, Antonoff has really shifted from masking his pain with bombastic synths to holding space for both grief and love in the raw.
10 years ago, he used those pop anthems to survive. Now he is just actually living.
Which leaves you with a final thought to ponder. If we spend our early lives building emotional armor that ultimately brings us success and protection, what hidden parts of our true selves might we only discover once we finally find the courage to take that armor off?